I'm here with Marsha Blackburn, who is running on the Republican ticket for U.S. Senate. And first off, Marsha, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate being with you. And yes, I grew up in a 4-H club, Farm Bureau, Baptist church family with a brother and a sister. And I went to college on a 4-H club scholarship and actually came to Tennessee because of a job. I sold books door to door during my college summers to work my way through school, and that was with a company that was headquartered here in Nashville. And I became one of the first women to ever sell books. Their first female sales manager started a women's division for the Southwestern Company. And my husband and I have lived in Williamson County. That's where we've reared our family. We have 2 children and 2 grandchildren. And I served in the state Senate. And Reed, a lot of your listeners probably remember the battle that went on for 4 years against imposition of a state income tax. I led that battle. And we won it because thousands of Tennesseans came with me and rallied with me, and they worked with me to help defeat that state income tax. When I went to Congress, I restored the ability of those of us in Tennessee to deduct the sales tax we pay every year from our federal income tax filing. And, I'm so pleased, too, that our state legislators picked up that fight against the state income tax, and we're never going to have one in Tennessee. That's been one of the defining issues in our state. So that's a little bit about me and what I've done and the energy that I've taken to the U.S. House. I'm recognized in the U.S. House as a bipartisan leader, and I have done healthcare and technology and national security legislation, and have passed that with bipartisan support in the U.S. House, and look forward to taking that energy to the Senate.
So, why have you decided to run for U.S. Senate?
I decided to run because I think the Senate is in need of some good, solid, conservative change. And Tennesseans overwhelmingly voted for President Trump, and they want to see his agenda accomplished. And they know that the Senate has basically been dysfunctional and that they need to get to work and pass the legislation that the House has passed and get it to the president's desk. Tennesseans want to see more constitutional Supreme Court justices and federal judges. They want to keep their tax cuts, the Trump tax cuts. They want to see the border secured, that southern border. They want to end sanctuary cities. They would very much like to have a U.S. representative and U.S. senator who is going to support our troops and help with our veterans. And Tennesseans want to have a U.S. senator who is pro-life.
And in your opinion, what do you think is the biggest issue that the United States is facing right now?
I look at it as the security issues. When we talk about national security, securing that southern border, jobs and economic security, and of course, the tax cuts are working in Tennessee. They come up to us every day, both employees and employers. They talk about having more money in their paychecks, having more money left at the end of the month. They talk about being able to grow their businesses. And I've got to tell you, Reed, I think that is Tennesseans being able to dream those big dreams and to make those dreams come true. And that is what achieving those dreams and building healthy communities is all about. People also are very concerned about gangs and human trafficking, labor trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking. And because of that porous southern border, they say every town's a border town and every state is now a border state. And they want us to make certain that we get that border secured. So some of those are the biggest issues that we have. Our national security, our border security, our economic security, and the other one I would add to that is our health care security, making certain that we get the Affordable Care Act off the books because it has driven up the cost of health insurance, and many families are now priced out of the marketplace.
And narrowing our focus, what do you think is the biggest issue that Tennessee is facing?
The biggest issue that Tennessee is facing is going to be keeping our jobs and our economy strong, keeping our educational system strong, making certain that economic development is going to take place. One thing that we are working constantly on is access to rural broadband and making certain that our rural communities have access to high-speed internet. I've been a leader in that effort, as you and your listeners know, working with Governor Haslam and our state legislators and our local exchange carriers. We have seen such an increase in access to high-speed internet. And we are now with less than 20% of the state having access. And what we are working to do is to get that adoption or utilization rate up so that people are using it in their homes. Let me tell you, you can't have access to a 21st century economy, 21st century healthcare, or 21st century education without access to high-speed internet.
And what are your plans if you are elected to the Senate?
Oh, you're going to see me take this energy that I have had in the House and put it to work in the U.S. Senate to help them to be more productive and to get things done, to make certain that we not only keep the Trump tax cuts, but that we get tax cuts 2.0, to be certain that we build that wall and secure our southern border and end sanctuary city policies, and to make certain that our men and women in uniform have what they need to fight and get the job done, and that our veterans, that the promises are kept to our veterans when they come home.
And is there anything else you'd like to say before we go?
I would encourage people to visit us at MarshaBlackburn.com, and I would take this opportunity to ask each and every listener for their vote in this pivotal and important Senate race.
Well, I want to thank Marsha Blackburn for joining us today. She is running for U.S. Senate on the Republican ticket.